And what about
And
the sort of the balance of when we're making these applications, we're thinking about our degree of fit and for a particular role. There's a lot of self-doubt and imposter syndrome that creeps in. So how would you suggest we balance the kind of the achievement side and also recognizing what we might feel to be failures and sort of framing that and bringing the whole story together?
great question. I think if you look at that historically, it's always been about achievement, achievement, achievement. What have I done? And, I think if you certainly look at the startup world, failure is actually not a bad thing. People learn by their failures, then great. How have you learned from that? How have you developed as a person? Is a great thing to be able to recognize. So I'm not saying that should be, a section in its own right. Hey, look, here are my achievements, and then another section of here are all my failures. But I think one should be reflective of that and bring that into the equation where appropriate, because that shows a lot about somebody, that they can admit a failure and they can learn from failure, and actually that can turn into a real positive. In the same way, I like to see people really talk about their strengths. Understand what your strengths are. Do a Gallup's test. Gallup strengths. Go through that process. Understand what your real strengths are and how they map to your key skills, and how they map to you as a personality. Because I think strength is a good one in terms of it covers so many areas. It allows you to talk about cultural fit. It allows you to talk about things that really light you up within your work. Where do you perform best? So I think beyond, just the standard achievement stuff, there's so much more people can bring into their profiles that aren't always there.
Yeah. And I think that's increasingly important in climate and sustainability, where the demand for roles is outstripping supply, particularly in the list of skills. And most of the job descriptions that we see are like a unicorn shopping list. And so not everybody, there's just not enough people with that list of skills. I was reading a great example, looking for candidates to submit that had got more than 5 years experience in a particular sector. But this sector hadn't really even been a thing 3 years ago. So we keep coming up with this kind of disparity between what people are asking for, what is available, and what people can do. So that move to hiring for culture, hiring for fit, hiring for strengths, not necessarily experience, is definitely something that I'm seeing on the rise. And I wonder whether that's something that you see and how you bring that into the equation when you're thinking about candidate and a company match.
Absolutely. And I think, one thing I would say is that that's often very hard to measure without having that kind of personal interaction with someone. You can't put all of that on a CV, and conversely, you can put all of that softer stuff in a job description. It's very hard to articulate that sometimes. And I think that's where, technology, AI could be quite dangerous, because it's missing those subtle nuances in a person or their experience that you just simply can't pick up until you've had that conversation with them. So on the one hand, technology is driving efficiency, but actually potentially losing that insight that you get in having that kind of conversation. So I think in terms of how that translates to recruitment, it's very important that recruiters, be it internal recruiters, external recruiters like myself, hiring managers, are very aware of that, and build that into their thinking, because you're not just assessing skills anymore. There's so many other factors in play.